My mom's prayer, it was my prayer that like I may marry into a family that is united and a family that will just make me gel into them and become uniform. So it's been feels like forever. It feels like forever. Hey guys, welcome to Makoti Chats. If you're new here, dingo Vuyokazi, Manyamalala, and welcome. Thank you very much for stopping by and clicking onto this video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for joining in once again. Thank you for the love, for the support. Thank you for the love, for the support that you have brought to this channel and for the growth. Thank you to all 1,659 of you. I cannot believe it. Thank you very much. On today's segment, you're probably wondering why I sit down. Remember in July, I asked that I want to do this new segment that's Makoti Chats, and I never really got to do it as well as I had anticipated to do it. And then I just thought, you know what, let me take a halt and pause it a bit. So we are back. I'm back into the season of creating, talking, and also exploring and being able to engage with you. And also I figured what better time than to do it during a time where it's considered like a Makoti time, because there's quite a lot of weddings happening, quite a lot of people are going to move on to being uMakoti, the whole transition. A lot of us will probably also go and visit our in-laws during like the start of the festive season, with December approaching as well. So I thought, Vuyokazi, just bring it back. In fact, not even Vuyokazi, Manyamalala, just come back and sit on your seat and just have this conversation. All right then guys, let's get into it. It's not going to be a formal talk. It's going to be very much casual, and it's also based on the experience that I've gone through and how and yes, 29 years of age at the time of shooting this video, and at the time that I got married I was 27. Jeez, feels like a long time ago. I was 27 at the time of getting married, and I am the last born Ekaya. So let's start today's video. In today's video, we'll be talking about my expectations versus reality of getting married, and how the whole experience was for me. Like, yeah, so let's get into it. So firstly, why am I laughing like that? So firstly, when I got married I was 27. At the time of shooting this video today I'm 29. Jeez, I've celebrated 2 birthdays while married. Wow. Anyway, okay, so today's video I'll be looking into, well, I'll be speaking, it's gonna be an informal video. I'll be talking about my expectations versus reality, and how has it been like thus far as a young Makoti. So let's start with expectations. Expectations, I must say, like, I think I'm just gonna get right into it because there's no beating around the bush, there's no trying to paint it anyhow, because it's actually been quite a beautiful experience. For me, being uMakoti has been quite a beautiful experience. I think that's first and foremost like the best experience, like, well, I won't say the best experience, first and foremost the greatest thing that I've experienced thus far, because I had expectations galore, because knowing so for those who don't know, and for context, in case you are tuning onto this channel for the first time and you have not watched any of my other Makoti content videos, I am Vuyokazi, I am Xhosa. I'm also married into a Xhosa family, and in the Xhosa culture, when you get married as a young girl, even if you're an older like lady, when you get married and you transition into a new family, it's a whole process where I'll just put snippets of the pictures. So you wear long skirt, the long apron, like the whole attire. I'll just put a picture of it so I don't go describing it. And you get given a name, and then you go through that whole transition where being told about how this household is and how this family does things. As a new bride, when you move into your in-laws and you get married, the sort of standard things that happen. You get given a new name. You are being dressed in the way that they dress their new bride. Most Xhosa people sort of dress their new brides, uMakoti babo, in the same way. Like most cases, not always. It's just few differing things, but most cases they dress the same way. I'll just put a snippet, but like the only picture I have is after a few days and after being settled within the family and had taken off some things. So I'll just put a snippet of the picture here for point of reference so that you know what I'm talking about. So it's the attire, it's the get given a new name, it's also being brought into how the family does their things. So like all of those things already, like I had expectations of those things and I had expectations of how it would be. So first to start off with, because I know my husband is Xhosa and his hometown is like the rural parts of the Eastern Cape. My first expectation first, like that, just keep that in mind, the rural parts of the Eastern Cape. So already you're thinking no proper running water, sewage, sanitation, all those things. Just keep that at the back of your mind so that you kind of reference it as I go along. So as I was saying, you get given a name, and I must say, Lord, I prayed. I prayed so much for me not to be given igama elfana. I think I'll just use names that are already used in my family, like no kaya, no sebenzile, like all those, like no lita. What other word comes to mind? No zimasile, all those like strong no something Xhosa words that were given to our parents. I was just praying that, can they not just be modern for me? You know, like there's Alimise now, there's Limise, there's like all these good to say, like I don't know, easy words that are not like showing ngoskazi or all those things. And my mother-in-law one tia watindingu ayabulela, so it's a whole phrase where ayabulela bayabulela undlovu, but because I can't, like she was just like, it's not fitting to call me bayabulela, it was ayabulela. So for me that was such a beautiful name. It was such a relief because I was just sitting there thinking, Nkosi yam, my dear Lord, will this be my name? But luckily the gods were with me. And I'm so thankful for that. And then the other expectation I had was for the attire, for like was after, okay, well, not the attire, yeah, like the Makoti fit, if I can put it that way, the Makoti outfit, for me to be given a prolonged period of time, not prolonged, like with regards to the amadaki, like the Makoti uniform, I had that expectation that they'd probably say that I'll have to wear those clothes for the next 3 months. So it would be the black duck, the scarf, the ikali and everything. And because I know, and especially because I'm a young woman and I don't have a kid yet, sort of back in the day the expectation was that umtu would wear those clothes up until they give birth. So like I had that brief thought about it at the back of my head. But luckily and thankfully my mother-in-law was just like, no mntanam, kaloku nina ngoku abantu besimanje manje, like 21st century, and uyasebenza, like, well, okay, you know what, let me just stick to English, and Guys, please also forgive me wherever I speak Xhosa. I'll try and ensure that I put subtitles right here, because I'm mindful that not everyone who watches my videos is Xhosa, and even if they're not Xhosa, understand it's Xhosa. So I'll just be mindful and ensure that I do put subtitles. So please, 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 please stay around, stick. I will try to ensure that I do speak English. So she sort of explained to me that before we left, because I stayed there, I think we stayed after the wedding, like the traditional wedding was on the Sunday, and my family left. So I was put onto the clothes, and everything. Like everything was just done. They talked to me and everything. And then I think we stayed 2 days or 3 days, because I even had my cousin's daughter, my mom arranged for my niece to remain behind, sort of to assist me with the duties and the chores that I would have to attend to, like making tea, if I had to do other things, so that she can be of assistance to me and I don't just do things alone, because we didn't know how the family setup was, and actually how rural the area was that they were staying at. So there was that. My mother-in-law then decided that I should just wear the clothes for the next 2 weeks after I had left the Eastern Cape, and I was like, I enjoyed it, but I was also kind of happy because even the layest of people, when they see you approaching, they know, oh, this one just got married, and people will just be doing those remarks. But sometimes people mean well, but sometimes you're so present, you're seen by everyone, and people actually would comment. They'd be asking you so many things like, when do you get married, and that whole process, you have to say your clan names and stuff. But luckily only one person said that, but I just gave them a look, and I was just like, I'm not about to have a conversation right now. So but it was a beautiful experience actually having to wear the clothes, because I remember after wearing it, it felt like I'm underdressed, because I'd be fully covered, for example, fully covered, headscarf, long skirt up until sort of my ankles, apron. I'd wear underwear, standard underwear, and then I'd wear what they call onaruki, which is an underdress. I forgot what it is in English, but it's an underdress, so that you wear it, and as you walk it doesn't sort of shape up your body. So that's the reason wearing that, and it used to keep me so warm on cold days. But luckily it was quite warm during the time, but it was nearing colder days because it was in April. And then and then the scarf, of course, around the waist. I'd already taken off igali, which was it's the sort of blanket that I wore. And then everything else would be standard, but I would not leave the house not dressed in that way, because during that time people were not supposed to see me dressed any other way but that way. And I enjoyed it. I remember I embraced it so much that I'd go to the office dressed like that, and I'd go to restaurants and stuff, and then I was careful and mindful of what I did. Can't be out here drinking a glass of wine while dressed up like that, because it just does not look good. But and then moving off from the attire, but the clothes though, if you'd like to know, it's the standard way of dress up. It's just that now I can wear a different color duk, and then I can wear sort of a slightly shorter, well, not shorter, but a skirt that still does cover up to my knees, maybe till my calves, and then I can go shorter with an apron as well, but I haven't ventured with regards to that. So that's what I'm at right now. And then my other expectations were the duties. So when I say duties, it's like making tea, because the first day, so what my family did, I'm so thankful. It hasn't, I don't I've got thankfulness that is not enough, because what my family did the day before the wedding, they made sure that I had bread, we made dough and we made baked bread, we make steamed bread, so that when I make tea, I'm able to make tea with my own equipment. I think I had cups, dishcloths, trays, teaspoons, the works, tea, like an entire tea making process. I had all of those things that were needed. And sort of the bread is sort of also a sign of respect, that you can't just give people tea early in the morning without bread, because like it's early in the morning and it's also serves as breakfast. So that was also one of the expectations, and also something that I knew is going to happen, which is why then my mom had arranged for me to remain with one of my nieces, and she remained behind so that she can be sort of an assistant to me, that if I'm carrying a tray of hot water, she'd be carrying like the condiments and stuff, like the teas, the coffees and the sugars. So she'd be my assistance should there have been no one else to assist. Yeah, so that part. But unfortunately for me, unfortunately for me, is that the day that I had to wake up after my family had left, I think my body had sort of realized that we are tired, because we had traveled to Cape Town, we were busy preparing for the wedding, we had like Lobola celebration, and then after that we had the wedding, and then we had to travel down to the Eastern Cape. So all of those things were just a lot, and it was a toll on my body. So I think my body was just giving in, because I woke up and had a serious nosebleed, and my mom-in-law and my senior sister-in-law was just like, you know what, you can just rest it off, and then we'll take care of duties after, because we understand that your body is going through it. So I was sort of saved by grace through that process. But also, when I say unfortunately, that is what happened. But fortunately for me is that the family is not that big, because after the wedding, everyone sort of went about their ways and everyone just went home because work resumed. So I eventually did make tea like 2 hours later after the nosebleed had subsided. I made tea, and then I like cut up the bread as well. There was even a loaf of bread that I forgot. Cut up the bread because we had anticipated that there'll be a lot of people. Cut up the bread and then started serving. And then one of Londo's aunts was just like, whoever didn't get bread now and tea, you are done. You are off duty. You need to rest. So that's one thing I'm quite thankful for. And then the other duties that I had expected were going to happen. I thought I was going to carry water, op makeup. Because luckily there's a water tank right outside the kitchen. So there's a JoJo tank, not a water tank. There's a JoJo tank. There's running water. So there was no need for me to actually go and carry water and so I'm so thankful for that part, that I didn't have to go through that initiation process. But everything else was just so seamless. Like, it felt like I'd been there before and I hadn't been. Like, the family was welcoming. It was nothing from what I'd expected, because I always hear people saying that you're getting married in the first few days, it's quite exhausting, because you work, you have to cook for 10 plus people. Luckily for me, people just started just going about their ways, and my in-laws were just assisting throughout the process. So guys, and I must say that I initially didn't believe my husband, because he was just like, no, we are very chilled, Ikaya, like it's not a problem. So yeah, and then what other expectations did I have? Oh, and I expected that it's going to be those old school, well, not old school, like those most rural parts of the Eastern Cape, because I remember my mom asked me, I don't know how many times, I said, you've never been to his home? And I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know how to get there. I've never been there. Because I think I'd just seen it on pictures, because eventually got to a point where when we were planning the wedding, I also wanted to sort of chip in and sort of say, this is the setup I want. But like, it was so difficult, because even the pictures I'd see, it would just be one picture, but it wouldn't really give me a proper description of how the whole area is. But my in-laws, where they stay, it's quite close to town, Mthatha town, so it's like 10-15 minute drive to get to Spa. It's not those where the taxi to town comes once a week, or an area where we have to cook outside. Oh, that was my other worry. I thought I was going to cook outside, so luckily I didn't have to cook outside. There was a gas stove, electrical stove as well, so like I made use of the normal life. The only adjustment I had to make was the long drop toilet. But you know what, it's an experience, and I had experienced it before, I think a year or two before getting married, so like it wasn't too much of a shock to me. But like I've said many a times, like I grew up in the township, so everything has been arm's length reach from me, so I've never really had to experience other things and living in the rural areas, but I enjoyed it so much. It's the calmest place. I actually look forward to going there, because like you are woken up by the roaster, by the chicken, or you're woken up by the chickens, and it is so peaceful. There's no highway, there's no oh, it is so calm and collected. I love it so much, and just being able to be there and just watch over the chickens, the sheep, the cows, and just grazing around. Oh, the best. Like I feel like for me, I'd live in a I'd say countryside, in a rural area, just for the peace of mind. Probably not on an everyday basis, but if I were to choose to have a holiday house, I'd probably definitely just have an escape area like that I'd constantly just revisit, so that I can recoup and relax. And my other expectation was that it was going to be a thing of whether you are just an outsider here, but my sister's-in-law, baby girl, oh, the light is going off. Okay, it's gonna rain now. The light is changing. What if we do this? Okay, let me finish up, guys, because now the clouds are forming. It's getting dark outside. But yeah, my sisters-in-law were the best. They still are the best. Like I feel like I am their sibling till today. I feel like I'm their sibling. Like I would get called more than my husband would be called. So that's how I feel like I'm just part of the family. I'm not considered as an outsider, and I love that so much. And it was my mom's prayer, it was my prayer that like I may marry into a family that is united, and a family that will just make me gel into them and become uniform. So it's been quite a beautiful experience for me as a new bride. But you know what, we'll just keep it at this for now. I'll touch base with you guys on the next video. So if you've watched this far, please do give this video a huge thumbs up by liking it. Comment down below what other topics you'd like me to cover. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next Makoti Chats video. Hopefully the weather will not be as gloomy as it is today. It will be great and gracious, and we won't be load shedded, so that we are able to enhance our setup with some light. Love you lots. Thank you very much for watching this far. See you till the next video. Bye for now.